All right, everyone. Hello again to everyone that got here, the ones that got here on time and the ones that were a little bit later, but the class is starting right now. So today we're going to cover the class for the week number 9. And this week we are supposed to be closing the unit number 2, which was about the structure of the language or the language structure, the way that we speak and the way that we write, and getting understanding the problems that we might encounter with the language in terms of structure. And with that, we consider there was a topic about phonemes. There was a topic that we cover also about the roots and prefixes and suffixes, which we call them the affixes. And then we also covered not just the way to speak, but also the way to write, or not just the way that you understand the language by reading, but also to write. So we covered last week how to write a paragraph. And we've been practicing about that, also considering the text in general. So that was the topic that you were writing about. And this week, we need to go back to what was left from the first class when we studied the phonemes. We talked about, and it was left at the end of those slides of that PowerPoint file. I showed it to you. And we said that we were going to talk about the stress, the word stress. And that's actually what we called the accentuation in English, or in Spanish is what you call los acentos. So in English, we have different types of accentuations, and those are called stress. And then you have different types of stress in terms of that you have stress on words, on a complete sentence, you will be stressing words, and you will also be stressing syllables. So inside a word, there is the regular accentuation. That's what we call the stress of the word. Which part of the word are we supposed to stress more? And so that the intonation and the way that we're pronouncing it is correct. So that's what we're going to cover today, which is a lot of fun. And with that, of course, you have a lot of homework. I'm just going to say that there's a lot, but it's not. I'm going to explain about the homework once we cover the topic and what comes after. So as usual, I'm going to start sharing some slides, some visual slides. That way it helps me to explain the topic even better instead of just you looking at me and without any notes. So it's easier for any class to just cover the topics this way. So it's safe to say that some of this information, most of it, I got it from some document from the university, the State University of Cincinnati, because it was a very nice resume collection from it. So I have to stress out that we are covering that from the information that they already published, okay? So as usual, I always like to give the credit to the ones that have worked a lot on this, because it's copyright, it's the author's right. So I have to mention them. And as usual, at the end, you will have the information from the references also. Okay, so what we're covering is something like what you're seeing here on this, the cover page that I'm mentioning, how word stress controls a word's intonation contour. And so you can see from the differences in these two words that look about the same and like the meaning is close to it, but it's not. And so how the stress becomes different, and that differentiates the actual word. So as you can see, I'm following this rule over here. If you see the bigger dot is where it comes the stress on that word, because economy or economics is not the same and they have different meaning. If you listen to what I just said, I said economy, I stressed it out over here. And then you also have the difference here with economics. Economics. So you hear it from me that I was saying, or I was applying the stress to the word into the NO, economics. And that makes it different. And of course, the way that somebody hears it, if they don't hear the complete word, they will know that you're talking either about economy or economics. So the meaning of the actual words when you have a conversation, if you don't complete it or if the way you speak is a little different, it doesn't matter as long as you remember to stress either the syllable or the words in a sentence. And how do we know about that? And why is this a topic in this language? Well, it is a topic because we, as Spanish speakers, we never heard of this as words being stressed. I mean, a complete word being stressed, being accentuated, the whole word. And is that even possible? Of course, it is possible. And that is the correct and the actual way to be speaking. We have to stress the words. So let's see what this topic is about. Let's start talking about stress timed or syllable timed. So we need to understand then with the first part here, just follow me when I'm explaining this, please. We need to understand what is a syllable. So a syllable is actually the part of an actual word. We can even have words made of one syllable, and this is the same as it is in Spanish. Every word could be divided in 1, 2, 3, or more syllables, depending on the size of the word. Yes, in English, there is several words that are just one syllable, as the example here as foot, but we also have words with 2, 3, and even more syllables. And that's when it becomes that if do we have to time the stress in the syllable or what do we do here? So just as an example, as 3 syllables, you have the word syllable, and also for 2 syllables, orange. So if you take a look on how to divide the words in syllables in English, it's actually about the intonation from them. Same way as you do in Spanish. When you are speaking, you kind of like cut the word in like microseconds, but you do cut the word in those different parts that a word has been divided. And that's what is actually the syllables. And that's what is going to give us the trick to remember where should we stress, the word or the syllable. So what is stress? And here I have an example. And like I said before, the stress is referred to the accentuation of a word, el acento. But as different as Spanish is, in Spanish, you actually draw something on top of that syllable that is accentuated and is actually on top of the vowel. But in English, that doesn't exist. You don't draw anything on top of the vowel or on one syllable. So then how do you know where to stress a word? In which syllable? Well, there are, of course, certain grammar or grammatical rules that can help you understand this even better. And it's also about getting the experience on where to use stress the word. I have an example here. For example, I don't know what stress is, Rebecca. So how do I know where to stress though? This this sentence and take a look at this. I don't know what stress is, Rebecca. Did you see? We have a stress in some words and we have stress in a syllable. Basically, those words of just one syllable will definitely be stressed as a word. as the whole word, but there are also other words that they do have more syllables, but in terms of being part of a sentence, you have to stress the word. So which words are we supposed to stress? So are you telling me now that we have to accentuate, to stress some syllables, and also we have to stress the complete word? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Stress is different, and we do need to understand this for the English language. So there is a difference here. There's something that is called stress timed versus syllable timed languages. And if you take a look at here, we do have some languages that are like this, stress timed, and that will be English, one of them. And Spanish is one of those who is stressed just especially in those syllables. And like I said, it's fairly easy to stress the part of the words in Spanish, because you basically follow very simple rules where you just add a symbol on top of the vowel. But that doesn't happen in English or German or Mandarin Chinese or Swedish or the Norwegian language or Dutch and others. But it does happen, like similar as Spanish in Italian, French, and also some other languages like Finnish, Icelandic, and Cantonese Chinese. This is why these two are very different from each other, because one is stress timed, depending on what you put into a sentence and also inside a syllable. And Cantonese Chinese, it's similar to the way we do it. They do stress only syllables. And of course, other languages too. Interesting, isn't it? Yes, there is stress. So there's a discussion here. Is your native language or second or third language stress time or syllable timed? Does this explain for any difficulties for you with intonation or word stress in English? There's a question for you all. I already told you, yes, your Spanish language is already syllable time language. But do you think that that might be a reason why it's difficult to pronounce, to give the intonation for English? Just give me an answer. Yes, no. I think that is. Thank you, Anael. Yes, and that's correct. Because this is one of the big differences that we have with the languages. Yes, I know there might be the structure on the way that you write, because it's sort of like backwards, but not all of the time. And that's one of the big differences also that we have with the languages. But the biggest part that we have for the difference in stress is the biggest difference that we have will be the stress time. Okay, so here we have a huge difference, and let's learn a little more about this, because we're talking about the generalities. And let me tell you that for the homework, what you're going to be looking for this week, it will take into consideration all of this. Of course, it will take into consideration the study of more about words that you stress. You're going to be looking at some different videos, because it's not that fun if you just take a look at me. I'm just one person, but you can learn so much more if you take a look at different other people and some different explanations. And for that, I have already recommended to use some of the videos, which is also a homework. So don't worry, you are going to watch those videos. Every video is a short video. It's about like 6-7 minutes. So they are not that big. And it's like 4 or 5 videos. So at least you will get some knowledge that is not just inside the class. All right. So here, this is for general purposes. This question is about if you remember that if you have more syllables, or the more syllables that you have in a sentence, not just in a word, but in a sentence, you will have more time, or it takes more time for you to pronounce a sentence. Do you think that that's correct? Do you think that that's true, or that's false? I'm giving you a question here, and it's an open question so that you can participate. And so please give us an answer, and give us some of your thoughts.
Okay, I say sometimes it depends. I can't say true or false. I say it depends because if it's a person that is starting to learn to speak and write the language like English,
Yes.
they are more familiar and they will relation the words that they see or that they hear with the native language they're used to.
Okay, correct. Yeah, if you're just starting with a language, it might be easier. That's what you're telling, right? But if
Yeah,
you are like a few years into the language, it might be more difficult. That's what
yes,
I'm understanding.
it
Yeah.
depends if you are starting or if you already know. Because if you already know, since you see the sentence, you directly remember like grammar, or it's like words you've already seen already. So you already know what sounds they make, the syllables they have, and all of that. So I think it really depends on if you're starting to learn it or if you already know how to speak it.
Okay, that's part of it. Thank you. Thanks, Anna. Very good participation on that. Yeah, it might be related to how much do you know about the language. You're right, that's true. That's certainly true. But also, we need to remember something else. In terms of syllables, and since we are Spanish speakers or our native language is Spanish, we have this tendency, the more syllables, if you have more syllables in a word or in a sentence, then it will take us a lot of time or more time for this to pronounce. And that's also the thought that we have. But in terms of that, this is false. It's actually false. So it actually depends on the number of stress words, how long you will take to pronounce it. Yes. So as you're seeing here, there is the same example from 1 to 5 as where you're going to stress the words. And it's supposed to take you the same time to say the sentence in number 1 that the sentence in number 5. And let's take a look. Dogs chase cats. The dogs chase cats. The dogs chase the cats. The dogs will chase the cat. Will chase the cat. The dogs will be chasing the cat. It's actually about the same, and it's not really related to the number of syllables or how many words you have, but the time that you take to speak something or to say something, it's related to what type of words do you have there? What are the type of words that you have there? That's why we're going to learn a very, very few rules to understand this. Which of those words are supposed to be stressed? So basically here, we're supposed to stress chase. Dogs chase cats. The dogs chase cats. The dogs chase the cat. The dogs will chase the cat. The dogs will be chasing the cat. So if you listen to the way that I was saying them, I was putting more stress into that word. And then it didn't took me longer to tell one of or any of the other sentences here. If the number of stress words is the same, you need approximately the same amount of time. That's something new that you are learning, and it's pretty cool, huh? So let's see, you just need to remember this following here. English is a stress time language, not a syllable time language. Timed is about how you speak it, how fast you speak it. So in terms of that, that's why it's related. It's about the stress time language. And if you can remember that English is stress time, then English will not be so stressful for you. Yeah. But how do we understand that versus And here is the example, versus I own a lot of sunglasses. I own a lot of sunglasses. Was it hard to pronounce it? No. Was it fast or slow? No, not even that. It was related to where I am supposed to put the stress, either a word or a syllable here. I own a lot of sunglasses. If you took a look on here, we didn't stress I, a, neither of. We stressed those little words that are just one syllable, but we didn't stress this part. How do we know where we're supposed to stress the words and that we are speaking or pronouncing correctly?
About hearing.
One thing, and that is so helpful, it's about considering hearing or listening. You're right, Sarai. You are totally right. We can learn a lot about hearing, but not just hearing, listening.
I think that
Paying
the
attention.
stress word is like the accent here in Spanish.
Yes, that's what I keep on saying, is an accentuation of it. So that's the stress in the words. Yes. So not all the words are stressed. We need to understand that. Do you know how we classify or divide words in sentences in English? Probably not. So it's about content words that are stressed and function structure words that are unstressed. We're gonna go and take a look at those examples into this website. So let us just, I need to stop sharing here because otherwise it's not going to be showing on the screen. So I'm just gonna go and click on that webpage. You can go again. The PowerPoint is going to be posted into the module for this week. So don't worry about it. You can go and visit it afterwards. So I'm just going to start sharing that web page now here. So it's about share the screen. And wait, this one. So this is going to take you to this web page, which is pretty cool. It's called the English Club. Go and visit it anytime. It's really nice. So this is about pronunciation and of course about sentence stress, because we are considering the word stress right now. So you can just go and take a look about this later on. Content words are the keywords of a sentence, and structure words are not very important words, but are part of the sentence. They complete the sentence. They're probably small words or simple words, and they make the sentence grammatically correct. And let's see, for example, let's see the example. Let me share the sound. I need to make sure that I'm sharing the sound over here. For example, let's see how we can say this sentence over here.
Sell car, go in France.
Sell the car, go in France. Sell car, go in France. Can you hear the difference in the sentences? Maybe not. So if you can't,
Sell car, go in France. Sell car, go in France. Sell car, go in France.
did you hear? Sell car, go in France. There is some stress in those words. But which ones are those words that are the ones that are content words and the other ones that are structure words? So that's what we need to understand. And that sell car go in France,
Sell car, go
it's
in
part of a
France.
sentence, but it was not complete because it doesn't have those connections. So in terms of having it complete, and if you can take a look at the difference with the intonation, we have to complete this one. And you're gonna hear it here now.
Sell my car, I've gone to France.
Did you listen to the difference into the stress? Let me play it again.
Sell my car, I've gone to France. Sell my car, I've gone to France.
Can you hear that when you pronounce my, of, to? There's no stress into it.
Sell my car, I've gone to France. Sell my car, I've gone to France.
Did you hear it? It's the same if we don't have it. If we don't have my, of, and to.
Sell car, go in France.
It's kind of like almost about the same, almost, but when we are pronouncing, so you do still need to complete all of the sentence. You need to have my, of, and to, but those were only the part that makes it the structure or the grammatically correct part of the sentence. But in terms of the stress, they don't even count. Let's listen to it again.
Sell my car, I've gone to France.
Sell my car, I'm going to France. And we can continue making the sentences even bigger, putting more information, grammatically correcting this sentence. Let's hear the example.
Will you sell my car because I've gone to France?
Again, the intonation, the stress of the sentence.
Will you sell my car because I've gone to France?
Will you sell my car because I've gone to France? Just a lot
Will
of
you sell my
stress
car because I've gone to France?
in those important content words. If you can see the difference, I'm gonna give you, you have this information that you can just go and practice as many times as you need. That's one of the purposes for keep using it, different web pages or references. So just go and practice whenever you have time. So I'm going back to the explanation over here. So not all of the words are stressed. Yes, we understand that part now. And are there rules for sentence stress in English? Yeah, basic ones. You have 3 over here. I'm showing you 3. And at the end of this presentation, I'm gonna be showing you 8 more so that we put together. So content words are stressed. You understood that, but you still need to know which are the content words, and that's what we're gonna talk about after this. Function, structure words. Those are unstressed. You are not going to put an accentuation or a stress into that word. And the time between stress words is always the same, like almost like there's no time in between where you're speaking. And for that, yes, like that I mentioned, we need to listen, we need to hear what happens. So content words that are stressed, let's pay attention to it. Which words are stressed? The content words, that's what we said. So content words are stressed, but which words are content words? Here you have it. Main verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and of course, negative auxiliary verbs. All of those are content words. And all of those are the ones that you need to remember. So let's take a look at the examples to remember which or what does it mean to have main verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and the negative auxiliary verbs. So for main verbs, sell, give, employ, decorate, buy, borrow, study, and work, and more, and even more, those are stressed words. So if you are going to use main verbs in a sentence, you are supposed to stress the words. When you're pronouncing those words, you're supposed to stress it. For nouns, education, employment, shower, embarrassment, goal, dream, grammar, and more. Those are examples of the nouns that you are supposed to be stressing. Adjectives, this is easier. Beautiful, crazy, frustrating, interesting, blue, sorrowful, excited, hardworking, and so on. Why are you stressing those words? Remember, when you're using adjectives, if you are using adjectives, it's because you are describing some something or a noun or the subject of the actual sentence. And if you're describing, you are putting some stress in those words. You definitely have to put some stress in those words, right? And what about adverbs? So if you don't remember the adverbs, I have some examples here. Like well, poorly, quickly, loudly, skillfully, never, always, and sometimes, and even more. And this is the easiest one, I think. I believe that this is super easy. When you are talking about the negative auxiliary verbs, you have to stress them because that's the way that you're making the sentence negative. If you don't stress that part of the sentence, you may end up with the wrong idea, with a misunderstanding of the sentence or what the idea that you are trying to deliver. That's why whenever you use don't, aren't, can't, won't, and wouldn't, and some more, you need to remember to stress those words. Okay? Yeah, but you still need a little more practice and a little more knowledge about that. We have the other words, the ones that are the structure words. And for those structure words, you need to remember that they are unstressed. If they are unstressed, it means that whenever you see pronouns, like he, we, they, I, she, he, it, we, all of those are pronouns. You don't need to stress them out. Because, yeah, they are functional structure words. Prepositions like on, at, into, in, around, across, and under, you don't need to stress them. Articles like a, and, d. Conjunctions like and, but, or, because, and more. Auxiliary verbs like am, are, is, which is like the verb to be, the verb to have, has, the verb to can, could, must, should. All of those are auxiliary verbs. Those that you study in your first English course, well, those verbs, let me tell you that you don't need to stress them when you are pronouncing something. All right? So let's just remember, we do stress the content words, like main verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and negative auxiliary verbs. We don't stress, we don't put the stress on pronouns, prepositions, articles, conjunctions, and auxiliary verbs. But there's little exception to the rule. I told you here that on pronouns, you don't stress the word, but there's an exception of the rule. Where is the exception of the rule? When you're comparing someone, for example, here, sometimes we can stress a word that will normally be only a structured word. For example, to correct someone's understanding. She speaks Spanish, doesn't she? But the exception to the rule. No, she doesn't, but she does. But she does. No, she doesn't, but she does. What are you telling over there? That you have two females, two women that you are referring to. And then you need to stress, actually, you do need to stress this structure word because it is exception to the rule because you are comparing, and you do need to make sure that you are expressing. No, she doesn't, but she, this lady over here, but she does. No, she doesn't, but she does. It's like when you're saying, that would be, I know because this doesn't happen in Spanish, but if we were to say it in Spanish, we will be saying, no, ella no habla, pero ella, sí. And we don't have that in Spanish, but you do have to stress it in English to make that comparison. No, she doesn't, but she does. And that's the correct way to speak. So this is a big, huge difference because it's, remember that this language, the English language, is timed stress, not just syllable stress. Yes. So this is a drill, and I'm gonna give you a little some time to complete this one. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. So you can complete this and you can participate. I'm gonna put a stop in a pause into the recording. Pause, team recording. Okay, so if you took a look at it, the A starts here, then B, C, and so on. And so you needed to relate the vocabulary to those answers here. Does anyone have the answers? Hello, people. Hi again. So we gave you just a few.
No,
Sarai, do you have any answer? Maybe one.
a little.
Let's just try together. So
I think the one
yes,
is with the D.
one with D. Let's see. D says one or more pieces of sound in a word. Yeah. Yeah, you're correct. That's fine. Good. Anyone else? Sarai, I'm counting your. Or any other? Stress and intonation. Which is the answer for number 2? Stress and intonation.
The number 10, I think, is the letter C.
Ah, you went for the easy one? Good. That was Luis Roman, right?
Yes.
Good.
Say number 2, letter I.
Number, let's see, who was saying about number 9?
Letter B.
9, you were saying letter B?
Yes.
Okay, for nouns, ideas, places, or things. Okay, okay, so that was who? 80?
I think number 8 is letter F.
Arlette says number 8 might be F, which is he, she,
The
it.
number 5
Number 5, is it?
is the letter H. Somebody who speak multiple languages.
Ah, polyglot.
The
Yes.
number 3 with the letter A. E. Sorry.
Number 3 with letter E.
Number
Grammar.
2 is
Yes.
letter I. Number 2 is letter I.
Number 2 will be with letter I, says Anael. I, which is stress, intonation, the emphasis to show importance in syllables, words, and sentences. Correct. Oh my goodness, you're doing so good. What about number 6 and 7? And 4?
6 is J.
6 says Alan is J. Auxiliary or helping verb can, will, am, is, are, should, have, jet. Oh, you're correct, Alan. Very good.
Number 7
Yes.
is letter D.
Articles. Number 7 is I. No, we already completed with I. Which one?
A.
A. Come on, remember, this is very simple pronunciation. A. Or
Sorry.
A. And I made sure to accentuate that letter A was down here. And what about number 4?
Letter G.
Letter G.
Letter G, the main ideas of speech, text, etc. So that's for content. Oh my goodness, let's give you a round of applause. Very good. Very, very good, guys. A syllable. One or more pieces of sound in a word. Stress, intonation. The emphasis to show importance in syllables, words, and sentences. Grammar. The system of rules to organize meaning in a language. Content. The main ideas of speech, text, etc. Polyglot. Somebody who speaks multiple languages. auxiliary helping verb, can, will, am, is, are, should, have, has, and more. Articles like the, a, and. Pronouns, he, she, it, we, they, you, etc. Nouns, ideas, places, or things. And negative auxiliaries, which was the easiest one. Or I don't know, I think that is the easiest one. Like don't, can't, shouldn't, etc. Good, thank you for participating. And of course, I took, I made some notes that you were participating, and I wrote your names down and for the times that you're participating. So let's continue. Pronunciation rules, there are more. There are a little more about pronunciation rules. We have here the type of word, the pattern, and the example for it. And of course, we are relating these for syllables. Type of words. For example, this is a very nice rule. I love this rule a lot. For most of the 2-syllable nouns, most of the 2-syllable nouns, the stress is on the first syllable. And if they are verbs for 2 syllables, the stress is on the second syllable. So you just need to remember this, most of them. If you have 2-syllable words that are nouns, the stress should be on the first syllable. And if those words of 2 syllables are verbs, the stress goes on the second syllable. Let's take a look at the examples, because there's no other way that we can remember this other than practicing the examples. Okay, so examples for nouns that are 2 syllables. Context. Can you see that? It's not context, no, context, because it's a noun. Paper, visa. So you don't pronounce it like visa, no, because it's a noun. So let's practice. This is a time that you can turn on your microphones. Let's not keep them in silence, and let's practice with these nouns. Just repeat after me, please. Get ready and ready your microphones, because this is the time that you participate. Turn on your microphones. Encienda los micrófonos. Everyone. And let's get ready. Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise. So let's see. Repeat after me. Context.
Context.
Good. Paper. Visa.
Visa.
Good. Let's see the second example, which is about the verbs. And let's practice. Repeat after me. Apply. Create. Relax. Very good. And so on. Most of 3-syllable words ending in ate, eyes, and eyes, they stressed on the first syllable. 3-syllable words. 3-syllable words that have this ending, they stressed out on the first syllable. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Fantasize. Exercise. Realize. Modernize. Celebrate. Good, very good. And what about most of 4 or 5-syllable words? Those that are bigger words, but they end in 8 or O's, they stress on the second syllable. You need to remember this. Like continuous. Enormous. Appreciate. Exterminate. Very good. And words that end in suffixes such as ik, ikal, ual, shon, iri, oji, ian, or tal, they stress on the syllable before the suffix. Before these ones. For example, animation.
Animation.
Creation.
Creation.
Physician.
Physician.
Magician.
Magician.
Musical.
Musical.
Very, very good. And words that end in suffixes such as ear or e, stress on the final syllable, like engineer, pioneer, guarantee, foresee. We're going to practice all of them again so you can hear them again and remember the rule. We're going back again. Repeat after me, please. Context. Paper. Visa. Apply. Create. Relax. Fantasize. Exercise. Realize. Modernize. Celebrate. Continue. Enormous. Appreciate. Exterminate. Animation. Creation. Physician. Magician. Musical. Engineer. Pioneer. Guarantee. Foresee. Perfect. Thank you very much. Now you can silence yourselves because there's a lot of noise. Thank you very much. Let's continue. Just put a group of the basic rules of English word accentuation, and this is just a resume of the class. We have almost finished the class. After this, I'm going to be explaining about the homework, and then we are going to finish. So as a resume, for number one of these basic rules, in most disyllabic words that accent falls in the initial syllable, like read, ready, mother, color. In disyllabic words with a prefix which has lost its meaning, the stress falls in the second syllable, that is to say, on the root syllable, like become, begin, pronounce. And the syllabic verbs ending in ate, eyes, by, the stress falls on the last syllable, like dictate or surprise. In most words of 3 or 4 syllables, the accent falls on the third syllable from the end of the word, like example, cinema. The accent falls on the third syllable from the end of the word before the following suffixes: logic, like psychology; logist, like biologist; graphy, like geography; grapher, like geographer; crazy, like crazy, like democracy, like the one before over there. Number 5, the accent falls on the second syllable from the end of the word, from the end word before the following suffixes, like ian, like physician; like ians, like experience; like iant, expedient; scient, like efficient; al, like parental; il, like essential; ual, like habitual; eos, like courageous; jos, like delicious; ire, like familiar. Most words of more than 4 syllables have 2 stressed primary, the nuclear and secondary. The primary stress fall either on the third or the second syllable from the end. In most words, the secondary stress falls on the syllable separated from the nuclear syllable by 1 unstressed syllable. Example, recognition, occupation, academician, governmental. In many derivative nouns, the secondary stress falls on the same syllable, which has the primary stress in the original word, like peculiar or peculiarity. These are basic rules that it's good that you come back to these notes and so that you can remember and practice all of this information. And like I said, the references, most of it is from ESL or English as a Second Language at the Cincinnati State University. And for the topic of word stress, and also for the basic rules from word stress from Filmilova Lena. And you can take a look at more information from them if you look for those references. And like I said, if you want to know more about stress, you need to go and read more about it. But also, like I said at the beginning, you're going to take a look at different professors. I'm recommending a few videos for you. Those are short videos for the stress on words and the stress of syllables, because we didn't take a look at many examples, but you're going to see more examples in those videos, and you're going to take some notes. And yeah, I'm forcing you because there's a homework about that you're going to practice with it. And there's also some other homework. Let me just take a look at the Canvas platform. Let me check on unit 2 and week number 9 for this week. You do have, there's a document that talks about this, the stress in the videos. And if you go to that document and just click on every video, you can go ahead and do that. But also under the header of videos, there is these 5 videos. One is called the word stress, content, and structure word stress and emphasis, the rhythm of English stress timing, word stress, let's practice, which is a lot of examples, and syllables and word stress, English pronunciation lesson. So there's actually 5 videos that you're going to be watching, and you can find them on under the module for this week, which is week number 9, and is the end of this unit number 2, which was about the structure analysis of the English language. And there's also about vocabulary. Let me just, I'm going to share this page the way that I'm seeing it here. I'm going to share the platform view. So where you're going to be finding, oh, there's someone saying something to the chat. Teacher, sorry, I need to go to work. Okay, Alejandra, goodbye. And so as you can see from here, you have this content. I'm going to upload, of course, this PowerPoint presentation that we use for the class, and it's going to be here as usual. And the videos that I'm recommending are these ones. And for that, you have the homework, which is a lot of fun in there. There is this word and syllable stress, which is about watching those videos and also writing something. There is 2 parts of it. One of it will be about, yes, the writing about that, what you learned from it. And the other part, there's 2 parts in there. Yes, one of them, it's about writing a resume of it. And the other part, which is number 2, will be about writing 2 sentences, whatever you want to talk about, I don't care, and practicing the stress of the words. And how I'm going to check or grade that homework, you're going to record yourselves, grabarse, the speaking part, where you can show the stress on the word. So that's the only way that you can actually learn, practicing. So one of them is you have to make a resume, and the other one, you're going to record your voice with 2 sentences. And this one is actually not part of it. I just had it posted, but I decided not to include it this time. So I'm going to erase this one. And then there is this other one because we are supposed to cover more about vocabulary. And that's why I included this one. It's from a book that is called, I think it's an engineering and, let me see, I have the reference at the end. I need to make sure that I tell you which book is. I believe it's about English for engineers. Oh, it says here, Technical English 2 course book, and it's for the manufacturing part. So let me just show you, I included, that document is a Word document. So I'm gonna show you the Word document here. Let me just show it to you. Let me make it bigger. So it's just this little part of this book that talks about manufacturing, and that you have to relate those pictures to the words that you have there. You have words like add, attach, install, paint, test, weld, body, chassis, finished guard, part. And then for this other part, you're going to be reading, and then you're going to relate the columns. And that's it. Very short, and that's why I decided to add that homework. So you are actually going to be working into 3 different parts. One is that, again, and let me repeat to you, you're going to be watching the videos about stress in syllables and words, so you can learn a little more. And you're going to be taking notes, and you're going to upload that evidence of your notes. And the second part is that you're going to be recording yourself speaking 2 sentences. I don't care about what topic you're going to be talking. You just need to write down 2 sentences, practice, and then record them. And the third part, as I said, is about practicing a little more about vocabulary. And with that, you can practice also with that book and complete that workbook. Yes. So that's it. With that, we have covered unit number 2. Of course, there is more about the language structure. I know there's a lot about grammar, but since you cover grammar in all of those courses that you took in your middle school and in your high school, and also during your 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th semester here at the university, then you have talked a lot about English structure. I tried covering in this class those structures that you didn't cover in the normal classes. And that's why we talk about phonemes, and that's why we talk about roots and prefixes and suffixes. And this is why we talked about the word stress. And I hope that you had fun learning even more and practicing more with the English structure from the English language. And with that said, thank you very much for participating. For those of you who were speaking and into the class, and remember that every time that you participate, you're getting extra credit for the end of the partial grade. And with that said, I'm going to finish and dismiss the class. But remember to stay here because we're going to cover for the attendance. All right, thank you for coming, and remember to stay safe. Bye.
Thanks, Professor.